Hello and welcome back to Downstage Gaming. I'm your host Josh, and this is part 48 of our Let's Play of The Letter, and I have been waiting a full day to dig into these delicious looking waffles, but here we are. When we last left off, we, as Luke, had gone into, we're at Halloween Day now, the 31st, and we got a nasty little surprise of what I believe to be Zach's eyeballs, just given to us as a little gift. We don't quite know what the deal is with that, though I made some theories last time. And then after that, we had Kylie show up here. She's been dropped off, and we're sort of set to take care of her and have a little play date with her. And as breakfast gets started here, we tuck into our waffles as soon as food is brought in. Our waffles, because she wanted her own plate to go with the ice cream as soon as she saw mine. A fresh plate of berries is brought in as well, which really goes great with the rest of this feast, as Kylie puts it. And if I indulge in the sweetness, I have a cup of black coffee to pair it off with. With our bellies full, Kylie grows content with just scribbling on a scrap of paper and calmly chatting about her week. Yeah, also we found out Kylie has some kind of weird haunted doll that, who quote, maybe doing some bad things, I don't know. She talks of her older brother Rowan and their parents, how they plan to go to the Bloxland in Berkshire for the winter holidays. She mentions Miss Pink, Rebecca, which I listened to with half an ear. Our initial meeting had been a mess, but I can't quite find myself to listen to stories about her teacher wholeheartedly, the phantom sting in my hands still itching. She talks of the sad man in the park, and of her new friend who likes to play hide-and-seek when she's not sniffing in the loo. Sniffing. Okay. When finally she finds nothing new to talk about, she goes back to her drawings. That'll change as soon as the stomach settles, of course, the calm before the storm. Because, behaved as she is right now, I can feel the curiosity just irradiating off of her. There's a restlessness buzzing under her skin and a question on the tip of her tongue, as they often are with children her age. But for now, I can take this piece with no complaint for however long it stays. I have fun with the crayons as well, at the child's insistence, even if I can't really draw. Just admit you enjoy doing some coloring, Luke, come on. With Kylie using the black crayon, that leaves me with a blue one. I absentmindedly start to draw a puppy to the best of my abilities. I want to see it. Show it to me. It's as I attempt to give the doodle dogs another eye that Kylie breaks her silence.
Tio? Where did Tia go? I saw them leave when I got here.
Yeah, we're breaking up, honey.
Tia didn't look so good.
I've been expecting a lot of different questions. The kid always has a bunch of them ready for me, but I can only sigh when she posed this particular one.
She's just going to the doctor's for a checkup.
And as kids go, there are follow-up questions.
And you didn't go with her?
Well, you were going to be here, sweetie, so I had to stay behind.
So she's all alone? At the hospital?
Oh, no, of course not. Tia has Johans and her maid and a guard. She's got plenty of company.
Yeah, but you're not with her.
Yeah, I think that's probably for the best, Kylie. If I didn't know better, I'd say the kid is trying to make me feel guilty. Though I don't know if the bitter taste in my mouth is that, or something else entirely, perhaps just some of the berries from breakfast. I really don't have time to process what the emotion is as the brat opens her mouth again.
You should have gone with her to the hospital. Hospitals are scary, you know.
Depends on what you're doing there.
Exactly why I didn't go. I don't like hospitals, Kylie. That's all there is to it.
So you're not angry at Tia?
Oh no, I'm furious. She might die, I don't know, I might have someone killed.
Why would I be angry at her? It isn't her fault she got sick.
I heard you and Tia are fighting. I heard that you might not be together anymore.
Ooh, who's spreading the goss, Kylie? I have to stop her there. Sure, it's easy for people to jump to conclusions and presume that we might be fighting, no thanks to Rochelle. But it's not common knowledge that things have actually gone sour and, to put it in her terms, that we might not be together anymore.
Oh, well, where did you hear this from?
I heard it from a nice maid lady.
Oh, nice maid lady, huh?
But that's still no excuse. Not when she's sick. She needs someone to hold her hand and bring her soup and make her drink medicine.
I'm livid. Livid that one of my employees might might spill the tea. And to a child, of all people. Who says such upsetting things to a child? But my anger dies out when Kylie starts to tear up. She holds it back in an effort to not seem so childish, I assume. Though I'm honestly confused as to why such news would upset her so. She hates Hannah just as much as I do.
Oh, no. Look, Kylie, there's no need to cry.
I'm not going to cry.
Are you sure? You've got no reason to cry.
I really like Luke's voice acting.
Even if Hannah and I won't be together anymore, you can still visit me and I can still visit you.
That's not the problem. Why don't you and Tia love each other anymore?
Because sometimes people fall in love and sometimes people fall out of love, Kylie. Welcome to the real world.
I still love her, Munchkin, and I'd like to think your Tia still does too.
I think there was never love there to begin with. That's my thought. Isn't that the truth? I love her. I'm just total shite at showing it. And a small part of me screams that I was not worthy to be her husband in the first place, no matter how hard I deny it. Perhaps in another time, another place, another me, I would have confessed that the whole world is nothing compared to her.
So why are you two fighting? You grown-ups are so stupid sometimes.
Why? Because I'm a prat, probably. Motioning for her to come closer, I wrap my arms around and rub her back in an attempt to comfort the child. Only when I feel her tears soak into my jacket that I realize there may be something else to her worries. I've heard Suarez is not getting along too well with his wife as of late because of how busy he is with work. Really, I was wholly tempted to just brush her question off and say that it's a grown-up thing. I could content myself in pretending that this isn't happening. But it seems like she needs to hear this. That just makes it all the more painful to try to explain this, because I have to explain it not only for Kylie, but also for myself.
Sometimes, people fall out of love. Or they think they've fallen out of love and need time apart. It's not necessarily a bad thing. They might be angry at each other, or they might feel sad. They need time for themselves, to think about each other. To know if there is still love. Maybe they'll be back together again. Or maybe it's better for both of them to move on, instead of staying together and hurting each other pretending they still love each other.
This is a remarkably mature take coming from Luke. There is nothing final, but here we are, at a crossroads where the wrong step might end in heartbreak. Hannah thinks we need some time apart, but we aren't done just yet.
But yes, grown-ups can be rather stupid.
You're still gonna be my friend, no matter what, Teal?
No, I'm afraid I've fallen out of love with you, Kylie. There's nothing here anymore. I think it's better that we spend time apart.
Of course, my life would be less exciting without a little brat like you running around and making a mess of it. And you better stay my friend, even when I get all old and wrinkly.
Kylie's shoulders shake in laughter as she pulls away and gives me a toothy grin.
You're already old.
Rude.
But don't worry. When you die, I'll burn you and put you in a jar so I can keep you forever. Just like they did with Abuelo.
Fantastic. My thoughts come to a grinding halt at her words, yet she goes on as if she hasn't just said such an odd thing. Why, it almost seems like the Tyke is looking forward to my funeral. I'm guessing a lot of people are, Luke. As if there is no confused expression on my face, she pulls me back to our drawings, commenting on the state of my weird dog.
I think your puppy would look better magenta.
Yeah, well, it's not your puppy, Kylie. I did this one. This is the Luke puppy. Alright, moving into the afternoon. Let's take a look at a nice picture we have with Kylie. I forgot. Okay, yep, and this is the creepy doll. Okay, and so right now, she hasn't brought up the idea of going back to Mage despite the green. He gently explained what that would be good. Okay, so we're getting pretty close to the point where he is going to leave, yeah, and head to the mansion. Alright, I don't think I can spend any more time with Kylie, considering how high-strung I feel. So it's a good thing that Suarez came for her as soon as I've called. Though it is earlier than the agreed-upon time, he voices no complaint. The bastard even has a look of relief as soon as they left. Or at least I interpreted it as such from where I've stood by one of the windows, not bothering to step out and greet the man. That's cold. That's just rude. No doubt he still doesn't trust me around his spawn. Well, he has every right to be suspicious of me. I am a dangerous man, after all. But to my chagrin, that leaves me with the rest of the day with nothing to do. Well, aside from picking up the mess Kylie left scattered about in the parlor, to my immense relief, she remembered to take her doll home with her this time. But the same cannot be said of the crayons and papers littered here and there. First things first. Okay, alright, it's theory of what's about to happen. We're gonna see some picture that she drew that's gonna have something real creepy on it that foreshadows something. Or as like a picture of the woman. I snatch my own doodle off the table and rip it to shreds, leaving no hope that it will see the light of day. She criticized my puppy? Fine. The world doesn't get to see it. The rest of the drawings, all Kylie's, remain unharmed as I collect the lot. Though they have been stacked neatly on the table before, they must have been blown about when I saw Kylie off. And there are plenty of them. From cats and cakes to colorful rainbows and gardens, the child managed to make a lot during her morning here. There is one more that I have to fish out of the fireplace where it landed. Expecting to see another one of Kylie's masterpiece, I am instead greeting with something a bit more concerning. Yep, okay, yes, I called it last time, yes! Okay, so Takako, I mean, I don't know if that's the real name of Ghost Lady, but, okay, Kylie has referred to Takako a number of times as her friend. Takako was the girl who was crying, that she had Becca check in on the bathroom, and then they had the whole scare there. Alright, so we don't know if that's, like, the real name, but we know at least that whenever Kylie refers to Takako, she's referring to the ghost woman. There's me, and there's Kylie, the two of us, side by side, and smiling as our stick figure cells stand in a nondescript field. That much I can ascertain without looking at the labels below the doodle's feet. But a third figure stands next to me in the drawing. A woman with her face hidden behind a curtain of black. Takako, the writing under her supplies.
Takako says you're making a really funny face.
Taka who?
Takako, a friend I made.
The hairs on the back of my neck stand on end, and I feel a chill go down my spine. A breath. You can hear a little whispering in the background, or at least I can. I was trying to make out if I could hear what it's saying, but not really. That isn't mine. That has me turning around, expecting, hoping to see someone, anyone, but nothing. And that's when I hear it. Laughter, sweet and merry laughter, ringing from the ballroom. Thinking about it has my cheeks burning and my blood running hot. It's as if I'm being mocked. As I stomp towards the door, I have to stop myself from shouting up a storm. I expect to see some of the help dallying about, idle from their duties. Perhaps they thought they could slack off on their duties without the head butler around and my preoccupation with Kylie. Well, they had another thing coming. But again, nothing. Nothing from what I can see with a cursory glance, at the very least. I roam around looking for near impossible hiding places, and still I am all alone. Yet I can still hear the laughter, the accursed laughter echoing about in the room, in my head.
Who's there? Show yourselves and show some respect to the master of the house!
I'm Luke fucking right! Cold uneasiness settles into my stomach when no one answers. I stumble on my own 2 feet, feeling a wave of nausea come from nowhere. I have to put a hand against the wall to stay upright. The world shifts and pain explodes from behind my eyes. It takes every ounce of my self-control not to leave then and there. The only thing my pride allowed me to do then is to close my eyes and attempt to alleviate some of the pain. Vague, unfamiliar images, dare I say memories not mine, flash in my head, unbidden and unwelcome. Like a strong hammer strike to the head, threatening to crack my skull and split it in two. Whatever emotions they hold are muted. I'm nothing but a spectator. Still, its weight feels palpable. Though it doesn't take long for these sensations to get into my head, through my eyes and my ears, it creeps and buzzes in the spaces between. Okay, so this is the one that we saw after Zach died. I wonder if we're only going to get to see the ones that we've already sort of found. It hurts. She doesn't want this.
You lacked care. You forget your place, and you've indulged yourself far too much in this fantasy of yours.
This is vile. Like vomit and sludge brushing against my skin before it covers me until I'm weighed down. Disgusting. Wrong. Stop it.
You've overstepped your boundaries and livery.
Stop it. This is wrong. Please.
May I remind you that you are nothing but a servant, a slave.
Okay, so you didn't so much free a slave as you did just buy one.
An unattractive, unchaste harlot who thinks too much of herself.
Please, no more. Yeah, I think we're only getting the ones that we've seen. Over and over it hurts. The pain, however, is not overbearing or blinding. I can't believe what they doing to this cat. This cat did nothing wrong. The rest of them, whatever, but the cat, come on. Maybe hit a button, I'm so angry. It's the littlest of cuts and the bruising of flesh by blunt force. It dribbles down my cheeks and my mouth. There is a pounding in my head. It's not blinding, but that makes it all starker. Everything hurts.
Please, milady, he need not suffer. I beg of you, have mercy. You already have me to do as you please. He deserves none of this.
Why is this happening?
Silence. Before I cut out that impertinent tongue of yours and feed it to the dogs. You will watch and you will learn what happens when I'm displeased.
What have I done to deserve this? One after the other, they come at me, an unending flood that threatens to sweep me away for what feels like an eternity. Each one a show of both joy and suffering for those who have called this mansion their home. Each new scene like a hammer to the head, threatening to crack my skull and split it in two. I can feel every little emotion, the blurry images that present itself in my head. I feel a part of these, like I've lived through them, though I know that is not possible. All their anger burns through me, that much is evident, but the pain more so. And above all are the whispers. The voices calling, luring, until one image emerges in vivid contrast with the others. When there's a shout of joy, my eyes snap open, looking for the culprit. That's when the whole room just changes. Everything is the same, yet everything isn't. There are people everywhere, laughing and dancing. I should be concerned about them, but my mind finds it easy to dismiss them as they fade in and out from nothingness. Instead, I find my concentration drawn to a man and a woman, though one can only call them a lord and a lady, going by their clothes. And oh, just see how happy the couple looks. Though the man's eyes are eerily blank, like he's not at all there. His face is familiar, though. In fact, they both are, but I can't quite place why. The two make for a pretty picture as they dance at the center of the ballroom. Even the Phantom's crowd's attention stay on them. It reminds me so much of Hannah and I during the early days of our marriage. The honeymoon years, they call it. We were happy then too, all smiles and her sunshine, even with the normal dreary weather. Younger, we had less to worry about, or at least thought that way. I wished we could go on that way even with all that I did and had to do. But life has a way of catching up. There was work to be done. Although we had to stay the loving, perfect couple in public, we could not afford to look so weak, to appear tied down to someone else, to those who knew who I really am. I had to harden my heart when I had business, but it hadn't always been so easy to just switch that part of me on and off. I should be concerned about their intrusion, too. Ask what in bloody hell they're doing in my house, throwing a party as if they own the place. Ask myself how the fuck I didn't notice what was going on before, when the parlor and the foyer were both only a few doors away. There's a horrid feeling of envy. And though I have long accepted that I'm a jealous person by nature, I have never felt such a strong feeling of envy as I have now. They were happy with each other, these people, but Hannah and I... Envy turned into anger. Anger for something I could not have. But I have the feeling that yelling and screaming at them won't do much of anything anyway. None of the others have given me notice. I realize that this might not even be real. It dawns on me that these two people are from the paintings, the ones all over the mansion. Which makes sense. I don't think I'm imaginative enough to make all this up on my own. This must be a dream. Or a really horrible high. I really should lay off the acid. Just then, I can feel eyes on me as I contemplate the absurdity of the situation, yet I find difficulty in trying to tear my eyes away from the two dancing. I manage, and I regret looking away. The woman from the gardens stands beside me. I can hear her rattling breath, menacing and chilling. Everything in me screams to run, but something pins me to the spot as she just looks at me, watching and waiting. The clamor of their voices fill the ballroom. Although they say such welcoming words, I do not feel comforted by the madness I'm experiencing. Their joyous voices turn sinister and foreboding to my ears. The chorus of people that shouldn't exist, threaten to overwhelm me, drown me even as I stand on dry land. The music still plays as the Phantom Quartet continues, while I stand here, vulnerable and afraid. But the dance has already ended, and I'm afraid that I might just be tonight's entertainment. Attention is all well and good until bollocks like this go down. These phantom people watch me, thousands of eyes scrutinizing, though they cheer from my return, cajole me to dance and join the merriment. There are eager hands all over, pulling me in every direction, but they do not move me enough to remove me from the woman's gaze.
Listen. Can you not hear them as they welcome you home? Your kind, our kind.
What does that
You're
mean?
one of us, my love. We are bonded by the blood we share.
If I thought the voices were overwhelming before, it is nothing compared to how they are now. Their voices are loud, speaking in unison and echoing ever on the spaces of my head. They welcome me back, as if I've always belonged, as if I was meant to be here in the first place. They call me all these titles and names that do not belong to me, and that man's face, the one with the empty eyes, flashes again before me. Once, fleetingly, like a new memory having burned itself in my mind. I have to struggle for air when I come back to myself after.
This isn't...
The welcomes turn into screams at my protest, pained in desperate pleas for my help, telling me that it is my duty to stay. Telling me that I belong among them, to them. Gentle touches turn near threatening, the warning scratches and the baring of teeth by predators before they truly maim someone. My mouth goes dry as I struggle to speak some sense in this hallucinatory madness, but I don't get the chance as they drown out my voice.
Our lord, my prince.
At her words, there is a compulsion to stay. Though my heart races in my chest, the fear I should be experiencing refuses to register in my head. Mind and body war with each other, nearly tearing me in two.
You finally returned to us.
The compulsion to walk into her arms is strong. Whispers in my head tell me to go to her. They say that she is safety, she is home and heart.
We have been waiting for so long.
But repulsed at these thoughts, I wrench away and turn with a small gasp. Without hesitation, I start to make a run for it. I nearly falter when an angry shriek pierces the air, inhumane and monstrous. I don't dare look back, I just run. I didn't care if this is a drug-induced hallucination or not. Just run! Out of the ballroom. And out of the parlor. So we've made it to evening now. I like that we're getting to continue hearing the footsteps here as we go. Okay, so we're still before Ash is gonna get here, though. But we have made it to evening now. It's only then that I bother to look back, hoping and praying to the god I scorn that it did not pursue me. I would have run all the way out of the mansion, too, if only someone didn't get in my way. I collide with a body much longer than mine and fall back to the ground, head spinning as I looked up at the stained glass. Turning my head to the side replaces the colorful sight with a pair of shiny black shoes. Fatigue fills every inch of my being then, making me refuse to get up. Meanwhile, a familiar head of ginger hair looks down at me in bemusement.
You really must look where you're going if you insist on running about. Do tell, where is the fire?
There's just... there continues to be something about Johans that I just don't trust.
Oh, thank God you're here.
I do hope you don't have a concussion. Can you count backwards from 15 to 1 for me?
No, but I couldn't do that normally.
Oh, fuck off, you wanker. Just help me up.
I do not think insulting me if you do have a concussion is a smart decision. But no, really. 15 to 1.
That woman, she was here. I told you to keep an eye out for her.
The other man offers an arm and pulls me up to my feet then. But before I can storm off and pull him to the ballroom, he anchors me down with one hand on my shoulder, the other touching the back of my head.
No bruising or bump. That still does not mean that you don't have a concussion. If you are too lazy to count backwards, can you tell me your full name? Where are you currently?
We don't have Lucille Mitchell Wright. And this is the Ermengarde bloody fucking foyer. But we don't have time for this.
You must make and have the time to make sure you are not broken in the head.
Well, he's definitely broken in the head, but that has nothing to do with this.
I have already sent security to scour the whole house when I saw you running out of the parlor, Dummkopf. If the woman is here, they will have her. You will only be slowing them down if you plan to interfere.
When he points that out, I realize that there are guards starting to filter into the house as we speak, with some already searching the nearby rooms. Armed and uniformed men go about in pairs, making that the house is a flurry of activity. He lets go of me then, with the knowledge that I'm not going to keel over anytime soon.
I was hoping that you would be tired from dealing with the young miss on my return.
But no, you're still full of energy.
Instead, you come running and hit your head. Such a troublesome boy. Shall I be carrying you to bed, too?
I can manage just fine on my own.
But if you could tuck
Though
me
we'll
in,
see
that
how
would
I
be
can sleep
nice.
until that woman is caught.
It'll be easier to keep you safe in your quarters. This is twice we've known the woman to break in. I think we can safely presume that you hold her interest.
I think that's especially safe to say, yes, Johans. He says it as a matter of fact. He says it as a matter of fact in a tone that brook no argument. Not like I'll argue if it means I'm kept safe. The two of us hurry upstairs, though we remain watchful and wary of any potential threats to my person. We make it to the master bedroom without any trouble, though, and two of the security are left outside the door. No problems at all. Not until we get inside. Johann's eyes scan the room wildly, look of dread on his usual stoic face. I don't understand for a moment. Looking around the bedroom, it's empty. But then I realize...
Where's Hana? She came home with you from the hospital, didn't she?
She's supposed to be here. I sent one of the maids to accompany her here, to let her rest.
I feel the color drain from my face when he raises a hand to stop me from charging out there.
Stay.
I'm not staying in here while Hana stays out there.
One of the guards will find her and bring her here.
And what if they don't? What if that woman gets to her first? What if she already has her?
Well, we'll get to that in about like an hour or two.
That's not possible.
You can't promise that.
There's no second thought as I reach under the side of the bed and pull out one of my knives. I have no doubt that the other man can take me on if we are both unarmed. But with this, I can even the field, or at least deter him from escalating the situation and risking hurting either of us.
I'm going out there to look for Hana. And you're either with me or you aren't. I'm not risking Hana, and I'm not leaving her alone.
Still, like a stubborn mule, he refuses to budge from the door. There's a withering look on him that I try to match. One that somehow I am losing fast to, even with him not saying a word yet.
Can you see yourself in the mirror right now? You are in no proper state to go looking for anyone. If it will make you happy, I will do the looking. But please, and don't make me repeat this, stay where it's safe, where security can find you. We already have one person to be worried about. Please don't add another one to it.
I mean, the question burning in my head right now is how are we going from this to in like an hour or two, Ash coming in and there being nobody here? Like, we're basically going from like a state of emergency, all hands on deck looking for Hana, to like nobody's here except for Johans and Luke. Perhaps it's his tone. In spite of his general disdain for virtually everything that has to do with me, I'd like to think that over the years he has grown to care for Hana at least. Much as I loathe to admit this, I trust him with her safety over any servant in this house. So, and acquiesce.
You have 2 hours, Shirokin. I don't think it'll take that long to find one missing woman in this house. 2 hours. Any more than that, and I'm going out there.
Of course.
Despite his words, he lingers. If I didn't know any better, I'd say he wants to make sure I get in that damn bed and sleep before he turns away from me. What am I, a child? Watching me and treating me like one? There's the reason why we will never get along.
Well, what are you waiting for?
And the knife?
No, the knife stays. This is my body.
The knife stays.
Yeah.
Very well.
Only then does he seem to get the hint. With a nod, he leaves, locks, and closes the door behind him. Now we get my favorite music right now. Now you listen here. I love this knife. Okay. Alright, well we are rapidly approaching where we left off with Ash, and I'm very curious to see us get back to there and see what happens next. But that is going to have to do it for this time. Until next time, this has been Downstage Gaming. I've been your host, Josh, and I will catch you all next time.